Welcome to Pasta Nostra USA. Here in our kitchen today, we're going to show you how to make TROFIE pasta using durum wheat flour and natural spring water, which is the traditional way of making TROFIE. We're going to take you through some simple mathematics in order that you can create perfect pasta every time. What you'll need to do is to divide every gram of flour by 1.82. This will give you the amount of liquid that you require. In our case, we used 300 grams of durum wheat flour. We divided that by 1.82. That gave us 165 grams of liquid. Once you've made this measurement, making perfect pasta every time, especially if you're a beginner, will become more intuitive. Working pasta can be quite tricky because it's a very dry dough, so you're going to need some patience and a little bit of elbow grease. Although the pasta seems to be quite dry at this stage of mixing, don't panic. As you work the pasta, it will become easier. Although it's a tough dough, that's exactly how it should be. And you're going to need your pasta dough for up to 10 minutes. Keep kneading until all of the dough and flour has been picked up from the work surface. After the first couple of minutes, you may feel that your pasta dough is a little bit sticky. As indeed was the case here, my kitchen was humid at the time of making this dough. All you need to do is to sprinkle a little bit of flour on the work surface and then keep kneading the dough to pick all the flour up. You may need to do this a couple of times, but that's okay. Again, keep kneading until you have worked the dough for at least 10 minutes. Eventually, you will reach the point where your dough is really smooth and firm. All you need to do now is to lightly flour it all over and pop it in a Ziploc bag. Remove all the air from the Ziploc bag and then allow the dough to rest for up to 30 minutes. Once your 30 minutes is up, let's make TROFIE. And we're going to show you 3 different techniques. You want to work in small batches. For the first technique, we're going to roll the dough out to the width of our baby finger. Next, we're going to dice it into equally sized small pieces, about the size of your fingernail. Roll them gently in your hand up to 5 times and then just flick them out onto the work surface. And from time to time you might want to sprinkle some flour on them to stop them sticking together. In order that the TROFIE cook evenly, you need to create a small groove that runs the whole length of each piece of pasta. The next technique is to use the baker's paddle to roll the TROFIE across the countertop in order to form the groove. We're showing you 3 different examples. You choose whatever's easiest for you. In our third technique, we're just going to use our fingers and a wooden work surface. Roll them gently, pull them back to form the groove on the side of your hand, pinching small pieces at a time. See how small that is? Roll it across the counter and form the groove with the side of your hand. We would just like to point out at this stage that the only way that you can create those grooves is to use a semolina based flour, because the semolina based flour is the one that holds its shapes. So nearly all pasta shapes are made using a semolina based flour, in this case finely ground semolina flour known as Durham wheat flour. It would be very difficult to make this with an egg-based pasta with white flour, such as Tipo 00. Believe me, we've tried. They don't hold their shape. Tiny little TROFIE, aren't they pretty? Ideally, the best TROFIE are the smallest ones, but don't worry if you've made some a little bigger. Ideally, you just don't want them to be too thick so that they cook evenly. TROFIE are traditionally served with pesto alla Genovese. Make sure you salt the water really well. There's no salt in the pasta, and these will absorb any of the liquid that you have in that pan. So be mindful, too much salt. If you don't want too much salt, don't put too much salt in there. All you're going to do, after less than a minute to a minute, your TROFIE will be ready, and you're going to lift them from the pan over the pesto. We're just going to test one, make sure it's cooked. I had to taste that one just to make sure. Lift it all out over the pesto, and then all you're going to do next is toss it all together. Mix it all well, and you're ready to serve. If you would like to learn more about individual pastas and how to make them perfect every time, join us here, subscribe, like, and Buon Appetito!